Hey guys, a day ago, Foodie uploaded a vlog and it's called A Day in My Life in Syria. Tanks everywhere. Um, and I think with the tanks everywhere thing, she was trying to kind of clickbait us a little bit. However, this may be the one time that what she thought was clickbait actually turned out to be something more than she expected. So we are going to be reacting to Foodie, but we are also going to be taking a look at some maps because I have been slowly following on maps um, where they're traveling to do these vlogs. And I have noticed something very interesting. And so I wanted us to take a look at that and get y'all's opinion on what you think about the situation. So we are going to go ahead and get over here to Miss Foodie, and we're going to talk about her vlog and what she shows us. And then we'll also check the maps out in the end. And we're going to discuss a couple of things that kind of make me feel uncomfortable. Um, so here we are. There's Miss Foodie. We are going to skip a small part of this vlog. She has the little girl in this vlog, and I do not feel comfortable. Um, I just realized I never put my thing back where it's supposed to be. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's get this fixed. I clearly was not prepared for this. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, but we will skip over the part with the little girl because I'm not comfortable having her on my channel. So here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Syria vlog. I hope you're enjoying this series. Today we are going to another lake, creek. I think it's a creek in like a valley area. And this time,
I am so shocked that she doesn't even do enough research to know if she's going to a creek, a river, a pond, whatever. Um, I don't understand how she thinks that the content that she is giving us counts as any kind of content or even educational. A lot of times when I watch this stuff, A Day in My Life, I want to learn something. I want to, walk away feeling like I have gained a little bit of information. That's why we watch A Day in These Lives. We want to see somebody else's life that is different than us and walk away with something from it. And we don't tend to get that with her.
we're gonna actually barbecue there. So I'm gonna show you what that's like. And yeah, I'm hungry. It's hot. I can't wait.
Is she showing us what a barbecue is like? Because Syrian barbecues are like how they go about barbecuing. Is it different than what we do here? Or is it because she's never actually done barbecues and this is something completely new for her?
Wait to be out in nature. And yeah, we're just packing up and we're ready to go. So
Well, and I feel like she just lied to us because she just said, I'm excited to be out in nature. That's a lie. It is hot there. She generally has to have a fan on her at all times, which she will not be having out in nature. And this also means her having to get up and walk around. So she's saying, I'm excited to be out in nature because it's just what she's supposed to say, not because it's actually what she wants. I would prefer for her to say, I am not looking forward to this. I don't want to be out in nature. And then at the end of it, if it's true, say, oh my gosh, this was so much better than I thought it would be. I enjoyed it so much. Maybe I should try to test my boundaries a little bit more and try this more often. But instead, we just get a bunch of lies.
Yella, join us. We're just stopped so I can have a slush. It's really hot, and also we need to get some cups for tea, just a few supplies and stuff like that for the barbecue, and then we'll be ready to go. And as you can see, my abayas and hijabs have arrived from.
Okay, I don't remember a lot of your abayas and hijabs that you had. So no, I don't, as I can see that that's what it is. I I hate how she tries to She tries to present it as something that she isn't. And maybe this is just me nitpicking, but I would much rather her say, "Guys, by the way, I am so excited. My clothes came in. I'm grateful to have some of my favorite pieces back." And don't just be like, "Well, as you can see, and if you can't, then obviously you're the problem and you don't pay close enough attention." I I don't like that. I would rather her just be honest.
From Kuwait. Also arrived from Kuwait, some of Salah's perfumes.
His perfumes for a company that does not actually exist. I believe the address for it is registered to an abandoned strip mall in Kuwait. Um, and I would also think because they had to flee Kuwait, that he, even if it did exist at any point in time, that he would have to sever all of those business ties so that he doesn't take those men down with him as well for all the trouble that Foodie got him into.
Here we are.
I just realized why this feels so slow, guys. I am clear. I am so sorry. I am definitely not prepared. We're going to bop her up to 1.5 because if not, we're going to be here for 90 years to get nothing really.
Orange and lemon slush. Now, to get to the valley, we had to pass through a couple of these little towns. So I just thought I would show you what a little town here in Syria looks like along the way. We also passed many of.
I do have to say that I appreciate the fact that most of the other time that she's showing us towns or villages, she focuses a lot on the buildings that have been destroyed or that aren't in very good shape due to all the conflict that's been going on there. But this one, it's a cute little town. It's a quaint little town. I know it's not, a Western town, but how that looked, it just gives off, the small town vibe, which the only thing that I have to compare it to is like middle America, where everybody's out walking, everybody knows their neighbors. And that's what it felt to me. So I do appreciate her taking that route when it came to filming this village.
these pomegranate trees. And to my surprise, the pomegranates, a lot of them were now ready for picking. And since the law knew the people who owned these particular trees, he was allowed to pick some pomegranates. So he picked me a few, and they look like this. I'll cut them up when I get home, and I just love pomegranates. And we also saw many cute sheep along the way. Hello!
Okay. I don't know if it's that she's just clueless and has spent so little time out in nature or that she just doesn't realize what's acceptable or not. I hope you guys can see my mouse. I don't. I turned it on, but sometimes it doesn't always do it. If you see all of this up here around the shoulders and around the haunches, um, that is wool that has gotten matted. And so what happens, that creates like a double barrier. And so when you, and it's hot in Syria. So it would be like you guys throwing on two wool blankets and walking out on a day that it's 100 degrees outside. It is miserable. But on top of it, your skin gets wet. And so then if you accidentally scratch your skin or, you know, brush up against something that's a little sharp, your skin's going to tear easier. And that's what happens to these sheep when it gets that way. These are sheep that are not taken care of. And the other problem is that with wool, when it's not matted, it can move around easier. It can breathe, and some of that. I guess the only way I know how to describe it. Um, I have insanely curly, thick, coarse hair. I think the closest thing that I could describe it to would be like Merida from Brave. That is what my hair is like. And on those days that my hair is curly in the summertime, I am hotter than normal. Um, and part of what causes that is that my hair, because of the texture and the curls, it naturally dreads. And so my hair goes from moving to it all moves in a piece, especially if it's hot outside. I mean, not hot, windy. But with that, when it happens to sheep, that gets weighted down because it has the mats. It soaks up all of the moisture that's coming off the body, which weighs it down even more. And then they have the wet skin, and then you have those mats cooling down, and it can cause their skin to tear. And it's extremely, extremely painful for them. So I am sure this would be a beautiful animal if it was taken care of, but there is nothing cute about this. I see this and I just see an animal that is not being taken care of and who is probably very uncomfortable and in an awful lot of pain, and there's nothing that they can do about it.
You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are so cute. We basically had to drive through a ton of farmland to get there, but it was actually very scenic and very peaceful and relaxing and all the good things. So here's some of the landscape here. I'm not sure what those crops were, but
I get so tired of her stating the obvious. When you drive through farmland, it is usually absolutely beautiful. It is peaceful. There's not a whole lot of traffic around. Like, that's great. Why did she not look into what is grown in this area? Why did she, not share that kind of? I would be so interested to know that. Is this where they grow olives? We saw pomegranates earlier. Is this where they grow wheat? Is this generally where they raise livestock? But all we get is the obvious because she has nothing else to give us.
we also had to pass by these looks like abandoned tanks, and that was quite surprising for me that there were just these tanks on the side of the road, just chilling. Like, I'm not sure if people still use them, if military.
I believe those were all abandoned by the Syrian army when they were retreating as quickly as they could. Um, so I don't even know that those have been there a very long time.
Still use them or not, but I doubt it. The wheels or whatever they are look like they were in a lot of mud, but here I am posing with a tank. Here we are approaching the valley.
I also don't understand why she thought that it was a good idea to, whether it's abandoned or not, it's still military equipment. In a country where there is active conflict going on. I know in Kuwait she could get in a lot of trouble for filming that kind of stuff or filming the military. And here we are doing the exact same thing again. We're not just filming it, we're posing with it. I mean, she's walking up to a tank and being like, best angle. That's her lack of sense is just astonishing.
You could see it far ahead in the distance, just past this beautiful mosque. And we are in a little town. At this point, we had no cell service whatsoever. And we are getting closer to the valley, getting closer. Wait for it, wait for it. And here we are. Wow.
Okay, so these are all individual shots, and she had to go back through and edit this together and then do her voiceover over it. I personally think that we get a lot of what I would consider dead space, where it's just her kind of rambling and saying stuff just to say it, because she has to get this video to at least 8 minutes for her to get a mid ad roll to run. And so where if this would have been me making this vlog, I would have made my cut, like where I added this in, it would start right here. And I would say, guys, we're in the valley. This is so, whatever. But instead we get we're almost there, guys. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh my gosh, hold on. That's, for somebody who has been a professional YouTuber for a very long time, this is highly unprofessional.
Wow, I've actually never seen a valley in real life or been to one, at least this big and vast. And there's some water at the bottom, and you see at the bottom there, we are going to be going to the bottom, which means a mountain road drive, a little dangerous. And yeah, look at this view. It is so gorgeous. And it was windy, and I felt dizzy going near the edge.
See, here's the thing. This looks like this is a dam here. And she wasn't sure if she was going to a creek, a pond, a river, whatever. I'm assuming that if there is a dam here, that she could have looked up what this place is, found us some history. This is in southern Syria, very near two different borders. And that area, even if you're not, a religious person, this area is filled, absolutely filled with religious history. Um, the Egyptians came in and were established here for a while. Um, there were, I believe this is somewhere near the Mount Sinai region, which is where, you had the Israelites crossing through the desert. This area is also very rich in history when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad. There's so much that she could have been telling us besides, I don't know if this is a creek or not. Definitely does not look like a creek to me.
But look at the sparkling water. And I, of course, have to take a selfie looking over the valley. Very, very gorgeous.
I also don't like that she poses for stuff like this and then puts it in the vlog. Like I love pictures like this. I cannot tell you how many pictures I have of my husband or my children where we are somewhere absolutely beautiful and it's just them looking out. But I took it without them realizing that I was taking it. They're just enjoying the moment. I hate that she purposefully sets up these moments to make it seem like she's just, this jet setting vlogger who enjoys every moment of her life, because that's not the case.
Okay, here we are starting to descend the mountains, and I was freaking out the whole time. I was kind of embarrassed because we had other people in the car, and I kept like shouting for him to stop, like halas in Arabic, that's how you say stop. Because Salah he thinks he's funny, driving kind of close to the edge, trying to freak us out, thought it was fun. I didn't think that was fun at all. But when he saw that I didn't think it was fun, he stopped doing it. And it was just, there's no rails along the side. So, I mean, I don't know. And look at here, the road just keeps getting narrower and narrower. It's really gross. There could be like a landslide. Look at the right, there's like just a hill of dirt. But look at this view. I mean, this view is just so breathtaking. But yeah, it's back to the danger. Look at this road. It just kind of gets even more narrow. And at one point, it gets really narrow and there's like little bends going around curves. And there's a part where Salah had to get out of the car and remove giant boulder rock things from the road so that we could pass. And
Okay, but the same thing happens if you're like in Montana, Nebraska, California, Colorado, Arizona, pretty much any place that there are mountainous ranges. You're going to have rocks and boulders that come down, and sometimes you do have to get out and move them. Um, I think this is one of those things where she has been so sheltered that she doesn't realize that this happens at other places.
it was very, very nerve-wracking. I guess I don't like danger as much as I like just watching it from the safety of my home on TV or in movies. Because look at this, like these rocks
Okay, danger from the safety of home and movies is because you realize that you can't be hurt. There's no real danger in it. You are sitting with a safety of a screen as your buffer to whatever is happening. And if you also consider, watching danger at home, watching horror films, I don't care how graphic or grotesque the film is, there is some part in your brain that sits there and says, this is fake. These are actors. This can't happen. This isn't happening. Um, it is something different when you are out experience it in real life. And I think it really goes to show the level of delusion that Foodie has, that she sits at home and says, I love danger because I watch it on TV. It's like it doesn't dawn on her um, that enjoying watching stuff on TV does not correlate into what you like to experience in life. The majority of people that I know, unless they're like adrenaline junkies and they want to go like skydiving and all of those different things, most people do not willingly run out and throw themselves into danger.
could fall and a rock could hit you. I don't know. But once at the bottom here, look at this view. It was so gorgeous, right by the water. We set up a little area where we can just relax, have some tea, have some barbecue. Here I am sitting on the
Oh,
mats.
oh, oh, okay. We are skipping ahead here. Okay. Crisis averted.
And here's Salah, Master Chef Salah, preparing the fire, moving the twigs and things around that we collected, just some wood, making a fire with coal.
Okay, first of all, as somebody who spent over a year and a half cooking on open flame every night, all of this nonsense would not be necessary if he actually knew how to build a fire in the first place. If you know how to properly stack all of your like kindling and then your bigger pieces of wood and everything like that, you literally light the kindling and it takes care of itself. So she's looking at this and being like, wow, my man, he's a nature man. He's not, because if he wasn't, I mean, if he was, he wouldn't be standing there with sticks acting like he's playing the xylophone trying to get a fire to start.
And wood, and getting ready to barbecue. First, we have some onions and tomatoes to go with the kebab. We're having chicken kebabs today. In Arabic, it's called busel and bandora. Onion is busel and tomato is bandora. And whenever you barbecue them on charcoal, it transforms the flavor. And I'm telling you guys, so delicious.
Has she never had barbecued vegetables before? I Grilling objects tends to change their flavor, especially if you're doing it over charcoal because it gives it that really nice char flavor. Um, I'm very confused about her excitement about that, like it's something new and inventive.
Here is a pack of white birds being led by like this blackbird. I don't know if they're being led by it or they're chasing it, but anyway.
They're chasing
And here
him
we are.
off.
Salah cooking the kebabs. He was the chef of the day. And yeah, the meat smelled so good. He went to a butcher shop before coming and they season the meat for you and everything. So they basically prepare the kebab meat with all the spices, the ground chicken and stuff like that. So they were very, very tasty on the charcoal. It just adds another flavor, you know? And I'm wearing Salah's hat, which actually doesn't fit my fat head. But I don't know. Just having fun, doing selfies, you know, feeling myself a little bit and just having a good time, being happy. I wish you guys are doing the same. Salah didn't know I was filming him right here. He's gonna.
Okay, he probably doesn't because, first of all, his feet are just atrocious. Like, they're so dirty. And then I did not see this. Somebody else pointed it out. So I am not going to take the credit for this because honestly, I would be embarrassed if I took the credit for this. If anybody looks in this middle region here, um, his pants are wet and it looks like he might have piddled himself a bit. So yeah, I would probably be upset if this was how I looked and I found out that somebody had filmed me and put it up without my permission.
Gonna be mad maybe that I put this in the video, but you look handsome. And here we are with the sunset coming up.
Super handsome with his pee stain.
We don't
Okay,
want to be
wait, what
out,
did she
you know,
just
too
say?
late, but the sun is setting. The sunset coming up. We don't want to be out, you know.
The sunset coming up. Sunrise comes up, sunset is going down. Um, I don't know if that was just a slip of the tongue or if we legitimately don't know the difference because we live in fluorescent lighting all the time. Well, not now in Syria, I guess, but she did for a while.
Too late, but the sun is setting and it's really, really gorgeous. And here's some more birds. I just find something so beautiful about birds flying in packs over nature. I don't know, you know? Subhanallah. And somebody lived on the top of that mountain. I don't know. I think rolling down this hill would be like the
I don't know if that's actually somebody that lives up there, or if that is something different because in the research I did, there are some military sites around this location. So that could be a military establishment up there and not a house.
ultimate hill rolling experience, but it would probably also be deadly, so forget it. Anyway, at the end of this adventure with stuffed bellies, we are driving home because I don't know why, but they didn't want to stay too late.
Okay, so this is where the rest is just gibberish, whatever. So nobody wanted to stay late and they wanted to be gone before it got too dark. She didn't know why, but later came in and put in could be dangerous in certain areas. So we are going to boop on over here to a map. Um, guys to see something here. No, I don't need that. Thank you though. Okay, so we're gonna back out a little bit. So, what I want you guys to see, this is generally the area that everybody believes Foodie is in, kind of roundabout, which is in Dara. But one of the things that I want people to look at, she's like, I don't know why it could be dangerous. And I want you to keep in mind, please, that this entire time that they're out here and this could be dangerous, that they have a 9-year-old Down syndrome child with them. She said there were other people in the car. We know that child has other siblings, so those siblings could have been there as well. So here we are, and we're going to come back up here, and where this watermark is, that's where they were at. So first thing that I want to look at, this line that runs along here, this is the Jordanian border. So we are like right there. We're literally like meters from the Jordanian border. Now we're going to come up here. When they went to see the ruins, they were in Jalin. That is up here. And I want you to see what we're getting closer to. And for those of you who don't know what all this is, I'll explain in just a second. So I'm going to zoom us in a little bit so we can get a better look. So there is the Jordanian border. And now we're going to come. Where did it go? Did I lose it? Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, so we're here. And this map tells me that we are about 15 kilometers from the border. This border right here. This is the border for the Golan Heights. So 15 kilometers would be about 9 miles, 10 miles away from here. So what this is the Jordanian border here, the Golan Heights border here. The Golan Heights area, for those of you that don't know, this is where Israel has been coming in, because right here we have like Ben Yehuda, we have Iliad, and then when we come over this way, we're starting to actually get into Israel. So when Israel is coming in and starting to, infiltrate Syria, they come up this way into the Golan Heights. And then depending on what area of Syria they're going to, they either come here and head down to the south of Syria, which they did the other day, and when Damascus was attacked, or they come through the Golan Heights and then go up north so that they can head to like Aleppo and those kind of places. So she's like, I don't know why it could be dangerous. Ma'am, you are literally sitting right here where this says Naj. That's pretty much where they were. And you are sitting 10 to 15 miles from where Israel regularly infiltrates the country with children. Like, I get that this is a part of life there, but part of life there is realizing, like, if this is where the enemy is and this is where they're infiltrating from, maybe I need to go in the opposite direction to find fun activities to do. Maybe I don't need to be putting myself in such imminent danger. Because like if I wanted to have a day out in nature or I wanted to have a vacation, I definitely would not be running toward the border of my enemy. And I don't know if this is just not really understanding the situation, if she 100% thinks that no matter what, she is marked safe because she's technically a Westerner, um, which, I mean, that could be a very valid assumption on her part. However, she is the only Westerner, and everybody else is seen as the enemy of Israel. We also have, the ongoing conflicts within Syria between the Shia and Sunni. So what happens if it's night, you get stuck in a car in the middle of the countryside, and everybody in your vehicle is Sunni, and it's Shia that run up on you? I don't understand how she could be so clueless about her safety. But not only that, like, if it was me by myself or just me and my husband, Okay, it's our fault then if something happens to us. We're adults, we made that decision. But to make that decision while you have children with you and other people's children, I think I think that is so irresponsible. Um, and it feels like she's just making decisions out of sheer delusion. And that's how you get people hurt, whether you intend it to or not. So let me know what you guys think about how often they're going. Every single place they have gone has been in this direction. They're always heading towards the Israeli border. Um, and I can't make it make sense. No matter how hard I try to figure this out, I cannot make it make sense. But let me know what you guys think about it. Is it delusion? Is it just not understanding fully the conflict that's there? Which is shocking to me if that's the case, because I am in America and I am fully understanding the conflict. I can look at a map and I can tell you where the different borders are. I can tell you where Israel is infiltrating from. I can tell you the different places, because before Syria and Israel shared the Golan Heights, it was kind of this neutral territory, kind of, and Israel just kept pushing in and pushing in, and until they fully took over the Golan Heights, and then eventually continued moving on and took over control of Mount Hermon, which is crazy that they did, considering that there's a UN base at the top of it, but they have control of it. If I can understand that here, how can she not understand that there, when it is her life? It's her everyday existence. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being map nerds with me. I love when I can talk to people about this kind of stuff, because, you know, there's not a lot of people in the world that are interested in what a fat Canadian is doing in Syria and why they're near the Israeli border. But thanks for being here. I'm going to remind you guys that I'm going to need you to be good and behave yourselves. But if you can't, at least do it right and make me proud. Then post it online so we can talk about it later. Bye, guys.